I am considering dealing with some debt reduction. I am not considering $50,000 debt reduction, but I'm in the process of taking a hard look at whether or not there will be additional debt forgiveness, and I'll have an answer on that in the next couple of weeks.
That was the president today saying that he is considering canceling more student loan debt.
Yeah, he made a campaign promise to forgive up to $10,000 of student debt. Been under pressure from progressives to fulfill that and maybe even go up to $50,000. Americans have a lot of student debt, more than $1.7 trillion. A new Bankrate report found 74% of Gen Zers, 68% of millennials have delayed a major financial decision due to their student loan debt.
Joining us now is Amala Epinobi with PragerU. I'm glad you're with us tonight. This is a slippery slope, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to be here. I am a Gen Z individual who has managed to escape student loan debt, so I'm very thankful for that. But the question I ask myself is, did I make any of these people sign up for this loan? And if we forgive this, what's next? Like you said, is it going to be your car? Is it going to be your house? Is it going to be something else that you regret taking out a loan on? I don't think it's on any onus on us to pay off the student loan debt that other people chose to take out.
But don't you, I mean, I look at like the cost of college. I mean, that's a whole nother layer to this onion as we peel back. I mean, this is a long way to look back, but 1963 college, $1,000 for a four-year college. By 2020, it's $32,000. I think that's on the low end, depending on where you go to school. I mean, why does it cost so much for us to get educated?
You know, that's a great question. And I think the colleges and the government as institutions are pocketing a lot of this money. I think there's certainly a discussion that we have to have around how expensive higher education is. However, when it comes to this current student loan and forgiveness, there's a lot of questions you have to ask yourself. What about the people who worked diligently and have already paid off their student loans? What about people who take this out in the future? I think it's really two separate discussions, especially with the state of our economy right now. I'm no expert, but the rates of inflation seem very high, and I'm wondering if student loan forgiveness is going to affect that positively.
Yeah, you know, well, you don't have to wonder. You put more money into the economy, and it's like pouring gasoline on the fire of inflation. But it's interesting. You think about, take Harvard University, for example. Their endowment's $53.2 billion. They returned 33.6% on their investments in 2021. We're all underwriting that because we're giving them tax-exempt status and giving Harvard 501c3 status. So is it time to begin to think about the way colleges are treated in a different way? Is it time, for example, to treat student loan debt the same as normal debt that can be forgiven in bankruptcy?
That's a discussion that we need to have. I certainly think we need to look at these colleges and start regulating just exactly how much they can charge students for this. You have students going in paying $50,000 or taking out $15,000 in loans to get a gender studies degree.
I'm just trying to understand. Blows my mind. That sort of seems to go exactly against the free market principle if we're regulating, quote unquote, what colleges are allowed to charge.
Sure, certainly. But there is a discussion that I think we need to have surrounding how expensive higher education is. I think if we're going to go to a private institution, sure, but we should look at these community colleges. We should look at public institutions. And again, I am not really pro college or higher academia as an option for students. I managed to build a career and do something outside of that. I would love if people looked into trade schools and options outside of higher education more, especially with the state of academia right now and all the indoctrination that is happening on these campuses. I think there's a lot that needs to be looked into. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert.
But you keep saying this needs to be looked into, we need to have a discussion, and then I ask you a direct question like, should colleges like Harvard have tax-free status and be able to grow their endowment tax-free, but yet the federal government and we all subsidize student loans for people who go to Harvard? That's not a discussion. I'm asking you, should it continue?
I'm thinking, no, it shouldn't continue. I don't think the onus should fall on American citizens for other people's higher education.
Okay, so okay, so you'd be fine with taking tax-free status away from all colleges?
Oh, I mean, I think so. If it's going to alleviate some of the pressure that average Americans feel for bringing other people's higher education and them getting their degrees, then I believe I'd be for that.
Okay. And then what about, so should we treat student debt the way we treat all other debt and allow it to be wiped off in bankruptcy?
You know, I'm not quite sure. I wouldn't be able to answer that. I think if we want to look at student debt and talk about how we shouldn't treat it like a car loan and we shouldn't treat it like a house loan, or sorry, that we should treat it like those two things, then yes, maybe we should allow people to file for bankruptcy on these loans.
Amala, real quick, before we run out of time, I mean, the train has left the station. I mean, there are people in massive debt because of loans they took out for higher education. What about teaching kids fiscal responsibility in high school? I mean, why don't we intercept this before it starts to happen, right? Don't go to a college you can't pay for. Make some better financial decisions going into it. How can we intervene now so we're not talking about this 10, 15, 20 years down the road?
I agree with you. I think we should start implementing classes like that in our public education institutions, because unfortunately, when you look at this, it does seem like a lot of students head into higher education and they take out these loans, maybe not knowing exactly how it's going to affect them, not knowing the rates of interest on them, and not knowing that down the line, there is a possibility that they will never pay off what they've taken out. So I think if we could get these classes in high school, or at least have guidance counselors that talk to students about the importance of money and just exactly what you sign up for, we could mitigate this problem at least a little bit.
Right. In the classroom and at the kitchen table as well, having those important discussions. Amala, great to see you tonight. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.